Welcome back. I'm back. You're back. Hey, we back. Welcome everyone to this episode on the Ultimate Sports TV, guys. I'm going to be continuing my NFL positional rankings leading up to the 2021 NFL season in this video, people, by giving you my top 10 edge rushers going into the 2021 NFL season. If you want to go watch all of the other of my NFL positional rankings, they're on this channel. I've done my top 10 quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, interior defensive linemen, cornerbacks, safeties, and I've done my linebackers, people. This is my final positional rankings video. But let's hop into it. Right before I remind you to subscribe to the Ultimate Sports TV, like this video for me, share this video and YouTube channel, then comment down below your top 10 edge rushers going into the 2021 NFL season down in the comment section below, everyone. I'd love to hear your opinion down there, everyone. But first, we're going to get into our honorable mentions. At number 12, I got Von Miller, and at number 11, I got Nick Bosa. These were both guys that didn't play in 2020, and there's just guys that moved up ahead of them or guys that also didn't play in 2020 that I just thought had better production than them in 2019. So I took all those things into consideration. I think Von Miller and Nick Bosa will jump their way back into the top 10 edge rushers at the end of 2021, but as of right now, I think there's some guys that deserve to be ahead of the both of them. But now let's hop into the top 10 edge rushers going into the 2021 NFL season. Let's hop into it. All right, starting this top 10 off at number 10, I got Danielle Hunter. At number 9, I got Shaq Barett. At number 8, I got Chase Young. At number 7, I got Chandler Jones. And at number 6, I got Zadarius Smith. Now, when we're looking at Danielle Hunter at number 10, at the size that he stands at, which makes him very disruptive, you do have to use that size and really weight in how big Danielle Hunter is. He still has to use that to get amazing production, and he did that the past 2 years, getting and racking up 14 sacks in 2018 and 2019. Although he didn't play in 2020, you saw how much the Vikings defensive line missed him and all of his versatility, because he's an amazing run defender and he's an amazing pass rusher with a lot of pass rushing production. So although he didn't play in 2020, which probably keeps him low on this list, he's still going to be a great player in 2021, and the production he has had in the past, I think, lands him on this list for the top 10 edge rushers going in to 2021. At number 9 with Shaq Barrett, he was a guy that had a 19 sack season before in 2019 and led the league in sacks. Although he didn't have that season in 2020, he was still pretty productive. He had 8 sacks. He was still productive as a pass rusher and still disruptive. Now, Shaq Barrett's not the biggest guy like Danielle Hunter or a Chase Young or a Myles Garrett, but he's still very productive. He still has a large and very good developed toolkit as an edge rusher, and I like Shaq Barrett as an edge rusher. I think he has a place and deserves a place in the top 10 edge rushers going into 2021. Love his production and love his skill set. At number 8 with Chase Young, I mean, how do you not put him on this list after the season he had in his rookie season in 2021? No, he didn't have double-digit sacks, but he was still very, very disruptive as a run defender and a pass rusher. Chase Young is always in the backfield. Even in his rookie season, you had to double this guy. He's super disruptive. What else can you say about Chase Young other than he's just a freak of nature? Now, at number 7 with Chandler Jones, he didn't play in 2020, but look, over the past few years, this guy's just been on a tear as far as pass rushing production goes. He's an incredible run defender, but really just as a pass rusher, he's just got an incredible bend. He's got an incredible toolkit as a pass rusher. Chandler Jones is very productive. He's very disruptive. Now at number 6 was Zadarius Smith. He's very, very underrated. I don't get it because he makes impact on the Ravens defensive line, on the Packers defensive line very, very much, but he's still not getting the recognition he deserves. He's always in the backfield, no matter what, as a run defender or a pass rusher. He's a very productive pass rusher, had over 12 sacks. I think he had 12 and a half sacks in 2020, and he was a very good run defender last year in 2020. Zadarius Smith is really just all over the field. You can get him off of the line. You can put him in a three-point stance at times if you want to. That's probably not the best way you want to utilize Zadarius Smith, but you can utilize Zadarius Smith that way. He's just always in the backfield. He's very versatile and he's very underrated and he's very, very valuable to a defensive line. And I don't understand why people haven't caught on to that yet. And I don't understand why I'm not seeing Zadarius Smith in a lot of people's top 10 edge rushers going into 2021. Now let's move on to our top five. At number five, I got Cam Jordan. At number four, I got Joey Bosa. At number three, I got Khalil Mack. At number two, I got Myles Garrett. And as the best edge rusher in the NFL, I got TJ Watt with the great production he has had over his first few years in the NFL. But when we're looking at Cam Jordan, he did only have a 7-sack season in 2020, but I still think he had an amazing season just as an all-around player. He's big, you can move him anywhere on the defensive line, and he's just very disruptive. He's going to give your offensive line a hard time. He has so many ways to just get to the passer. He has the bull rush, he has the power rush, he can bend some sort. It's not his specialty. He can do it. He's not the best at it though. But Cam Jordan still has a lot of ways to get to the quarterback, and you have to love him here at number five. He's just a great edge rusher. Joey Bosa, I still think with all the hype we give this guy, he still should have more production. But he's just a very versatile player with the big weight and size he is at. Joey Bosa is just a force to be reckoned with, and he's hard to get past. He's another guy that's very good as a run defender and a pass defender. He's disruptive, and he's a challenge to game plan for any offensive line coach or any offensive coordinator. Now, at number three with Khalil Mack, he's a guy that you always say, could he be in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation? Because I definitely think he had a say in that last year. He didn't quite get there last year, but he still had a good season in 2020. Khalil Mack still one of the more disruptive players. You can put him on the defensive line in a three-point stance, or you can line him up outside. Khalil Mack is that versatile to line up, but also just get burst off of the line. He has been, and he can pass rush well, and he's a good run defender. I think he definitely deserves a spot in the top three with how disruptive Khalil Mack truly is. Now, number two and number one, this is something I definitely went back and forth about. At first, I had Myles Garrett at number one. Then I had TJ Watt at number one. Then I had Myles Garrett at number one. It was so difficult to find out which one was the best pass rusher in the NFL. I mean, edge rusher in the NFL. But when it came down to it, look, TJ Watt has been a Defensive Player of the Year candidate 2 straight years, and he probably should have won one of them. He has been that productive, and he has been a tad bit more productive than Myles Garrett these past few years, and mainly in 2020. Myles Garrett, to me, I think what gives him the case to be number one over TJ Watt is I just think he's more skillful than TJ Watt. I think he has a better skill set, and he has more in his skill set, and he still has that good production. But when you look at TJ Watt, he has that skill set and he has that production that tops Myles Garrett, but he's just so valuable that over the past 2 years, he has been a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And Myles Garrett is that valuable too. There's just sometimes where he will miss games that'll kind of ruin his season. I just think because of production and how things have gone over the past few years, this does put TJ Watt over the top because he just simply has better production than Myles Garrett. Now, if these two's production were just tied, then I'd say Myles Garrett would have the edge over TJ Watt because I like Myles Garrett's skill set better and how he'd be able to carry a defensive line if he had nothing. I mean, look, if Myles Garrett had the Steelers' defensive line, I'd see him going just wide with the skill set he has, also knowing that he hasn't been on the best defensive lines over the course of his career, but he's still been putting up great numbers and he still has showcased his skill set. I would like to see TJ Watt go through what Myles Garrett has gone through, but Myles Garrett's skill set is just so transcendent on that defensive line, but so is TJ Watt's. I just don't think it's as much as Myles Garrett. I think Myles Garrett has a better skill set, but ultimately, when you look at TJ Watt having a good skill set, knowing he has been graded as a great run defender from PFF, as the best run defender as an edge rusher by PFF in 2020, and knowing he's great with the pass production, pass rush production, knowing he is a defensive player of the year candidate over the past 2 years. I think he has to get the edge over Myles Garrett here simply because of the production that TJ Watt has had, but also just because he's a skilled player. If Myles Garrett had the production that TJ Watt had, I think I'd be putting Myles Garrett at number one. But because of the production that TJ Watt has had, it's only right and it's deserving to TJ Watt that he is at number one as the top edge rusher going into 2021, everyone. But other than that, this has been my top 10 edge rushers going into 2021. Make sure you give yours in the comment section below. At number one, I got TJ Watt. Number two, I got Myles Garrett. Three, Khalil Mack. Four, Joey Bosa. Five, Cam Hayward. Six, Zadarius Smith. At seven, I got Chandler Jones. At eight, I got Chase Young. At nine, I do have Shaq Barrett. And at number 10, I got Danielle Hunter. And as my honorable mentions, I got Von Miller and Nick Bosa, who I do think will move back into the top 10 after this season, guys. But this has been my top 10. Other than that, this is Malik Hicks, aka The Ranker, the Ultimate Sports TV, signing off. Peace out, and I'll see you on the other side.